Hello and welcome to our webinar about Chatbot in 5 days, staying in touch in difficult times. Thank you to everybody for joining. It's great to see so many people on the webcast. Great to see so many people taking the time out and listening to us talk about chatbots. My name's Gerhard Heide. I'm responsible for our market strategy in our communication solutions software. And I'm joined by Stephen Roberts, who is one of our senior account directors, and is going to show you a very exciting case study, and also by Chris Cummings, who is our senior product manager for our Engagement Commerce solution, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, just as a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, so you can download a copy afterwards, or you can also share it with colleagues once we're done. I reckon we will be about 30 to 35 minutes to go through. I'm going to give an overview first of all, and then we're going to hand over to Steve to talk through a specific case, and then Chris is going to show the solution we've used for that. There will be a Q&A at the end. Please, if you have any questions during the webinar, please submit them in the Q&A, and we will tackle all of the questions at the end and address them like that. With that, I just wanted to say a couple of words before I hand over to Steve about the kind of situation environment we're finding ourselves in. So, as we all know, it's a really difficult time, and a lot of companies are struggling to stay in touch with their customers. A lot of people are struggling, full stop. But what that means is that digital communications are actually more important than ever to keep businesses going. I spoke to an industry analyst last week, and he said the companies who will manage to hang on and survive this period are the companies who have sorted out their digital communication strategy, who can connect with their customers digitally. And you can see here some examples. So we have a lot of instances where call centers are closing, or people who work in call centers, for example, are now working from home. Some of them cannot access the platforms we normally use. They can't communicate with their customers. A lot of them are off sick. So the staff and the capacity of the call centers is going down significantly. At the same time, a lot of customers are calling in because they want a refund. Maybe it was a holiday booking. They want a payment holiday, which is one of the examples we're going to talk about in a bit, because they might have lost their job and they need help. Or generally, they want some information about unemployment or various other options. So we see a big spike in the communication demand, and at the same time, a reduced capacity for many organizations across the board to kind of deal with that. Now, one of the ways you can address that, and that actually fits in quite nicely with digital communications and the trend for automation we have at the moment, is through chatbots. So a lot of customers are quite happy to have a kind of automated interaction anyway, as long as the interaction is useful and relevant. And what we want to tell you today, for specific examples, is that chatbots can help with that significantly. They can answer up to 80% of common questions around the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year. We've seen many examples where they can cut the resolution time significantly down to 5 minutes, and they're much cheaper than maintaining the call center, in particular at this period on time. And one of the key things we would like to kind of tell you about is that it doesn't take a long time to deploy a call center. We can deploy chatbots. We can deploy chatbots very, very quickly, within 5 days, and have them up and running and help you at this time to kind of engage with your customers and keep the connection going. Now, with that, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Stephen Roberts, to talk to you about a specific company in the UK who has done just that and who's managed to turn the kind of call center going down around into talking to their customers. So Steve, if you're there, over to you.
Thanks, Gerhard. Much appreciated. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Roberts. I'm Senior Account Director for Customer Engagement Solutions at Engage One. I'm originally from the Republic of Ireland, but relocated to the UK with Pitney Bowes back in 2010, and I operate out of the UK. As Gerhard mentioned, I'm going to go through a very recent case study for one of my clients. They are a mid-sized water company located in the UK who, really due to sort of the rapid impact of the coronavirus pandemic, we were able to meet them in their moments of need to continue their customer service for their 750,000 customers across 285,000 homes. And this is an organization, like with many water companies in the UK, where customer satisfaction is a major priority. And here is why. For those of you who don't know, Ofwat is the water regulator here in the UK. And they operate a measurement that they call SIM, or a Service Incentive Mechanism. And that mechanism, it enforces the poorest utility performers to make an underperformance payment. And that's usually around about 2.4% of residential revenues, so it can be very, very significant. As part of my client's 2020 transformation program, and they chose a customer engagement solution from us in the past, and that is designed to accelerate the creation and delivery of communications, including email and SMS. The COVID-19 or coronavirus pandemic and the UK's national emergency was really the catalyst for this company to look for a chatbot solution. And it was really to support their customer service function. And back then, a few weeks ago, it was in the likely event that the call center could be shut down, and they were awaiting UK government announcements. So this water company operates a 40-man on-site call center, which takes several thousand calls per day, with a 30-second call answer SLA. And on March the 10th, I was contacted about their COVID-19 continuity planning and for the potential for a chatbot solution. On March the 19th, following UK government announcement, they were forced to send 32 call center staff home. That left only 8 remaining on site, and the company had absolutely no facility for home workers to access the call center systems. So that same day, March 19th, the SLA of 30 seconds went to 12 plus minutes, and that was somewhere in the region of around 9 to 11% of their SLA. And then on the Monday, 23rd, which is now 2 weeks ago, the call center closed completely. And so before I talk about the solution that we turned around very quickly for this particular customer, I'd just like to give you a simple but very powerful overview as to what a customer journey and a customer experience looked like 1 week ago after their call center was forced to close. And this is what I refer to here as the previous journey. And I'd like to introduce you to one of their customers. He's Sean. He's 32 years of age. He's not married that long. He has a young family. He's living with his family in a new property, so he's got a monthly mortgage commitment. And then, unfortunately, due to the UK government's decisions to close all public businesses for the foreseeable future, and due to the spread of coronavirus, Sean lost his job as a head waiter in a restaurant. And due to significant and instant financial impact, Sean was seeking a financial holiday in a number of his monthly payment commitments, including his monthly water bill, which is taken from his bank account by direct debit. And so what does Sean do? He calls the water company customer call center, and the IVR message advises him that the call center is closed. The recorded voice politely advises Sean to visit their website for more information and to submit an email for any related queries. Sean hangs up, goes online. He searches and searches the website, but can't find the information he's looking for with regard to requesting any payment holiday. So naturally, Sean is obviously very angry and he's obviously frustrated. not helped by the fact that he is extremely anxious and worried about his own financial situation. And so he finds a support email address, sends in an email with his request, but he immediately gets a generic email reply saying that somebody will be in touch soon. But we know, that soon could be, really anybody's guess. So Sean's experience with his water supplier is basically not good. And as an organization, my client's corporate strategy is to offer and encourage more digital usage with excellent experiences. It's in their annual report. So they achieved the deflection to the website, but the experience was really far from excellent. And so on the same day that the call center closed, and as I previously advised, that was March 23rd, we got to go for our Engage One Converse product solution. This is our chatbot solution that can be deployed to many different messaging channels. So their intention was to build a chatbot solution around their existing FAQs, plus a number of FAQs specifically relating to COVID-19. And they also wanted their customer service staff, who remain on the payroll but now work from home, to be able to take over chat conversations when requested by their customer. And so, we met with them, I'll add virtually, on Monday, March 23rd, the same day that the call center closed. On Tuesday, March 24th, which was the next day, and within 24 hours, we turned around a chatbot prototype. And prior to the chatbot going live, and during that same week, the water company very quickly saw a spike in inbound emails. So just like the email that Sean had actually sent in, and all of these emails had to be responded to manually. By March the 27th, 4 days later, after we met with them, they launched the first iteration of Engage One Converse FAQ chatbot. So what would, under normal circumstances, be a 2-month process for my client with user acceptance testing, modifications, refinements, etc., we managed to turn this chatbot around within 5 days. So Sean has lost his job, as we know. He wants to request a payment holiday for his monthly water bill. He telephones the call center, but it's closed, and he's advised to go to the water company's website. This is a new customer journey for Sean. But this time, he's immediately given the option to use a chatbot. He's used chatbots in the past successfully, so he's pleased to see that this option is available from his water supplier. And first of all, Sean is presented with a slider menu where he can either select your bill, your water, or COVID-19. But Sean wants to get straight to the point. So he types his question: I've lost my job, can I have a payment holiday? You'll notice that there's a spelling mistake here for the word lost. This is just an example, and just despite the error, the chatbot knows what Sean really means. And he's presented with a response. He likes that response, and instantly you will see it answers his question. So question taken care of. He doesn't need any further help in relation to his payment holiday, but he does have a different question. This time it's about his existing direct debit, and he wants to talk to an agent. The customer service agent, who we know is working from home, now sees that there is a customer chat request. And before the agent takes over the conversation, what he can do, or she, is they can quickly look back at the transcript history as far as they want, just to get up to speed. And when ready, the agent then takes over the conversation and makes introductions. And Sean asks the question about amending his direct debit to the 25th of every month. The agent, you can see here, confirms the request. He likes that. Question taken care of again. And this next image that you will see will just give you a sense of the two-way chat screen that the agent actually sees. So there is that history, and it's the two-way conversation. Before they both conclude the chat, you can see that the agent asks Sean if he would like a transcript of the chatbot conversation emailed to him. Sean says yes. Sean enters his email address. The agent confirms the email has been sent, and the successful conversation is concluded. Sean receives his email almost instantly containing the transcript of the chatbot, so he can file it away. And they have just now concluded their conversation. So just again, and to reiterate Sean's experience here, it's very satisfactory this time around. Both questions that he had, and I refer to his payment holiday, and he also had an additional question around his direct debit amendment, both questions are dealt with, and any concerns that he had about not being able to make his monthly water bill payments as a direct result of losing his job due to this pandemic have been alleviated. So just to conclude and just to repeat, the water company's corporate strategy is to offer and encourage more digital usage that deliver excellent customer experiences. So in this second journey, this new customer journey, using the chatbot in 5 days, the solution, they successfully achieved deflection to digital. They now offer an engagement tool that gives an excellent customer experience. And from Sean's own experience, he has formed a very positive perspective and opinion of his water supplier. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. As a result of this, terrible situation that we're in, and COVID-19 impacting their business considerably, which is the same impact that businesses are going through throughout the world and are experiencing, we're able to meet you and many other organizations in your moment of need. It's a solution that addresses the short-term challenges we all have that have been imposed by COVID-19, but also a solution that will deliver customer engagement benefits in the future. And just to add, we actually talk to my customer on a daily basis, and even as of today, we have noticed an increase in the number of live agent chats that are going on a daily basis. There's been a very big drop-off in the number of calls, still inbound calls, that have just ended because they can't get through to anybody. And getting a lot of very positive response from end customers. So it's all good news. It has been dealt with, and we are going through development, continuous improvement and development over the coming weeks. So yeah, I'm just obviously really enthusiastic to help you. Everybody's in this position to help you and your company, no matter what location you are locally. And we're obviously really willing and excited to help. So on that, I'd just like to hand over to Christopher Cummings just to give more details around the actual chatbot solution that my client has implemented. Thank you. Chris?
All right, thanks, Steve. That's a really tremendous case study, and that experience, those business issues probably resonate with many of the people watching this right now. So what we're going to do now is go behind the scenes to look at Engage One Converse, which is the technology that enabled this utility company to launch a chatbot with live takeover capabilities in 5 days. Then we'll look at the process for how they achieved such a quick turnaround, and we'll have time for some Q&A afterward. So Engage One Converse is our all-in-one conversational platform. As you can see here, Converse is a cloud-based solution, and it helps business users in customer service, but also in marketing and customer experience to quickly create automated conversations for the messaging channels that their customers are trying to reach them on. Typically, this is their own website, like we just saw, but it could also be interactive PDFs, Facebook Messenger, and even voice channels like Amazon Alexa. They do that using an intuitive drag-and-drop designer augmented by natural language processing. In addition to the designer, we provide analytics so you can understand how users are engaging with your bots. And critically, especially at this period of time, we provide live takeover capabilities, which enable you to get your human agents into automated conversations as needed. To help you get a sense of the product, we have a selection of screenshots here, which I'll walk you through. In the upper left is our conversation designer. It's drag and drop with a workflow builder in the center where you lay out your conversation. And then on the right is a preview, so you can test changes in your conversation as you make them. In the screenshot below the designer, in the lower left, is an example of our natural language capabilities. So here you can specify intents and utterances. These are basically the types of words and phrases that you expect the users to use to trigger certain actions in the bot. You provide your example phrases and then click the train button to have the software build out natural connections and make those logical kind of jumps. So if the user misspells words, the bot will still understand and respond appropriately. In the upper right, we have the main dashboard for the Converse analytics. In our reporting dashboard, we provide metrics on how your customers are engaging with you, and we do that by channel. With Converse, you get full conversation transcripts, so you can see what they're actually saying. And importantly, you get confusion triggers. These are important because they'll help you understand where the bottlenecks are in your conversational experiences. And then, armed with that information, you can then decide how you want to optimize the conversation. Maybe it means updating an intent, which is really simple and fast. Maybe it's a new conversation path to consider adding, or even a whole new bot to create. Or maybe you're perfectly happy to ignore it because the default response was good enough. Either way, you have the information and the insight that you need to make those kind of decisions. And then lastly, on the lower right-hand side of the screen, we have an example of our embedded live takeover. On the left side of this screenshot, we have the consumer interacting with a chatbot. And then on the right side, we have a view of Converse Live Takeover, which lists all the active conversations that are happening at that point in time. The highlighted conversation is the one that the agent is evaluating before taking it over. That means before they click into that conversation, the agent receives a browser notification that the user was requesting help. The agent is able to see the red status at the top. You can see that in the screenshot that says waiting for an agent. The agent can review the entire transcript before taking it over. So that way they can get the context of what's happening. And most importantly, by being able to get that context, the agent is able to provide a seamless experience and avoid asking the user to repeat information that they may have already provided, which would make for a really annoying experience. When the situation is resolved, the agent can close out the conversation personally or redirect the user to a customer satisfaction survey or some other appropriate endpoint. And again, they can do all of that seamlessly, personably, and efficiently. Now, let's move from the product and look more at the process. So, how did this utility company go live in 5 days? They followed a process that we have, which I'll share with you here. This process can go longer. It can go maybe even shorter, depending on the use case and what your needs are. But in essence, we take a 4-phase approach. In day 1, it's the planning phase. That's where we're working with you to define the scope, the KPIs, the strategy. In days 2 and 3, we're moving into the proof of concept. That's where the conversational scripts are being written and the bot is really starting to come to being. Days 4 and 5, at this point, we're live. Usually starting with a very small group. So exposing the experience to them, watching the conversation, literally watching them unfold in real time, and then making changes as needed. That process is repeated, increasingly broadening the scope. So getting more feedback, reviewing the results, and adjusting and adapting as needed. And then in the controlled growth phase, by then, typically you've addressed the use case, you're happy with the results, and it's all about what's next. It's expanding use cases, going deeper. Maybe there are other groups in the organization who could also benefit from from automated conversations. That's when those discussions start. Now, I'm excited to say, as part of this webinar, we have a special offer for everybody who's joined us here today. So from now until May 1st, if you go to the web address at the bottom of this slide, you can get a free 30-day trial of Converse. You'll have access to everything that you've seen here today, and actually a bit more. So you can launch your own chatbot in 5 days with automated conversations, engagement analytics, live takeover to escalate as humans as needed, and really start mitigating any further risk to your business because of COVID-19. If you'd like our help to implement your free trial, we're also offering on top of this a 20% discount on services. We would love to work with you on this, speaking for myself and Gerhard and Steve and everybody on the team here, to help you take advantage of this unique special offer. And with that, I will turn things back over to Gerhard for Q&A. Gerhard?
Okay, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Steve. That was very interesting, and we have quite a lot of questions. So, interestingly enough, thanks for going through that. The first question is, can you contact me for some more information? So before I go into the rest of the questions, I'm just going to move this to a poll we wanted to do with you guys. If you want some more information about this trial, about the free trial before May the 1st, please click yes here, and somebody will reach out to us subsequently. I'm just going to leave that up as we're going through the Q&A, and the first question I have is for Steve, which is, can you have a measure of customer satisfaction before and after the chatbot was installed?
It's a little bit early days at the moment, since we're not that long in to the actual chatbot being previously launched. Customer satisfaction for this particular organization in the past has not been good, to be honest. They have not been a very digital organization, hence the reason why they now have a Digital Transformation 2020 program in place. And so they have been always looking at our different channel customer engagement solutions. I mentioned one that they've already put in place around our Communicate email and SMS solution. And they've been very much aware of our chatbot solution for future deployments, and also our personalized and interactive video solution. And all of these have been approved within the business for future rollout. However, it has been the COVID-19 pandemic that has actually sped this up in terms of the chatbot solution moved right up to the priority list. So we are beginning to see, as I mentioned, some very interesting results and feedback coming in. We will be using as part of the KPI and measurement for success. And just one in particular, which is an email that has been shared internally this morning, which was sent directly to the head of retail for this water company, that basically, in summary, says, all in all, this is an excellent experience for as a customer, and had an excellent interaction with the live agent, who actually even made it quite personal, and just signed off saying, I hope you and your family stay safe through these troubling times. So really, really good feedback that we've had, answered their questions. It's a deterministic chatbot, a lot of it. You're not necessarily going to get all your answers. So you might get 70, 80% down the road. But the point is, one of the unique propositions of the solution is the ability to be able to go from a deterministic question and answer led chatbot into an interactive live agent discussion.
Okay, thanks. Actually, related to that, and that may be a question for Chris, but maybe also for you, Steve. So the question is, in terms of getting it up and running so quickly, how did you arrange the right answers to most common questions in 5 days? I don't know if Chris or Steve, whoever wants to take that one.
Well, I'll take it first. Maybe Chris wants to pick up. I don't know. But if I understand the question, we were given the list of the frequently asked questions that they had available, and which was kind of buried, within the website. So that was the foundation for the chatbot. So we were able to build it very, very quickly off the back of questions and answers that previously existed. Yes, there has to be a refinement to free text, that if somebody types in the word, it recognizes certain words like direct debit, it recognizes payment holiday, that it's able to retrieve. So there's an element of intelligence within there. And as you move forward day by day, and we're analyzing the feedback that's coming in through the analytics, we're able to refine the accuracy of the answers to the question more and more each day. And the questions that relate to, obviously, COVID-19 are very specific, and they were generated and provided to us.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'd agree with that. I'd add on that typically in these kind of situations, we do look to the customer support team for this sort of use case, is that they're going to give us the best data in terms of, all right, what does the call volume or the email volume really look like? What are those top, 5, 3, 5, 10 kind of questions that generate most of that volume? And then as you go through that with them, clear which ones are really critical and also don't really require personalization. So those are typically the easiest to answer. And then if something does require personalization, you need to get to the data source. We're set up to handle that as well.
Okay, thanks for that. So next question, I think that may be more for Chris, again related to that. So with this company, we've created a lot of COVID-related content, and one question is any COVID content recyclable across your customers, or must each customer create their own? I guess the question is, can you even further improve the setup time, particularly around COVID, with the content we've already created? Maybe that's one for Chris.
Yeah, so we have some, I guess you would say, kind of starter packs based on commonly available and recognized information that could be used. So that might give you a good basis. And then, of course, you can customize that, look at the sources of the data. If your organization doesn't agree with them, it's easy enough to populate that and kind of customize it. But yeah, there's starter information that we can provide.
Okay, thanks. I think that's another one for you, Chris. That's an interesting one. How is training performed with the Greek language?
Oh, that's a good question. So the honest and transparent answer right now is that it's not. So with NLP, we do officially support multiple languages. So today that's English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, and Portuguese. So those are the languages that we support in terms of natural language processing. However, outside of NLP, we do support other languages. For example, we had a client that wanted to do something in Arabic just the other day. So we plugged in that information. The bot is able to display answers in that language, and then also able to user types in that language. The bot responds appropriately. We just don't have the NLP set up with that. But in terms of kind of a more deterministic approach, we can essentially handle any language.
Okay, thanks. So actually, there's just a question coming in. When you said any language, do we support Arabic at the moment?
So we can, just not with the natural language processing.
Okay, so you can still have a chatbot, but the natural language processing isn't available for that just now. A question for Steve, and just as a reminder, if you haven't submitted a question, please, we will keep it going as long as there are questions. Also, if you want to answer the poll, please answer yes or no. And then if you're interested, we are very happy to follow up straight after this with you. Beyond that, I can see quite a few people are reaching out in the chat wanting to do exactly that. So question to Steve. So you've given an example of a water company use case, but can you also talk a little bit about how we've applied it or how it applies to other sectors, please?
Absolutely, Gerhard. Well, I mean, the short answer is absolutely. I think when we look at it globally, whether you're in financial services, insurance, or telco, or travel, or retail, or any sector, and you have a call center, and call centers across all of these sectors are going down at the moment, and all companies are seeing, anybody who drops their call center as a result of this are seeing a spike in inbound queries due to the impact of coronavirus. And myself, personally, about 2 days ago, I had a query the other day just with regard to my PayPal account linked to my eBay account. And I got through to a phone number, eventually through to something to be advised that the call center was now closed, go to a website. Massively frustrating for me, but there wasn't any other option for me to get my answer. And companies across sectors, they have to have a solution in place. And we feel, and that's why we're very excited about this. Yes, it's a terrible situation that we're in, globally, and the impact of the economy is awful. But we have a solution around Chatbot in 5 days. We've proven it. It's working. It's getting the results. It's going to improve more and more. And we know that each solution can be tailored to each company's requirements, irrespective of the industry sector that they operate in.
Great, thank you. Okay, passing it back to Chris, we've got a question around, so you're setting up the chatbot, I guess, and you connect to data. Can you talk a little bit about what do you need for that, how easy it is, and what's the security you need to consider for that?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So we've made it really easy to personalize the chatbot conversations. So for some conversations, that'll be a requirement. For some, it won't. For example, a kind of generic FAQ, typically that wouldn't be personalized. But if yours does require data, we can integrate with any REST-based API natively within Converse. And then we also have other data connectors in our platform to pull in data from dozens of popular CRMs and other data sources. We are, so on the security side, so we're cloud-based, so we use regional servers to make sure data stays in the country of origin. We support encryption, so if your bot is collecting sensitive information, that information can be encrypted, so that way it doesn't appear in chat transcripts, for example, and then that information can be decrypted on your side as needed.
Okay, thank you. And one last one at the moment, unless there's something else coming in for you, Chris. Can you just briefly talk a bit more about if our chatbots have AI capabilities? Some of that you mentioned already with the natural language processing, but can you just expand on that a little bit, please?
Sure, yeah. So for those maybe who aren't familiar with kind of the landscape, so there are basically two big camps in automated conversations. There are those that are completely deterministic, where it's just button clicks, simple keyword matching, and then all the way on the other side is more fully AI solutions, which can cost a lot in terms of time and money and resources. And if you've seen some of the headlines over the last several years, sometimes you can get some pretty unpredictable results. With Engage One Converse, we're operating in what we think is this really sweet spot, where we support the deterministic capabilities, and then we've augmented that with the built-in natural language capabilities, so you can train the software on the intents and utterances that I mentioned. So that way you don't need to key in, say, like every variation of a phrase or every possible misspelling of a word. But if the business needs more AI capability than that, we can also integrate with third-party solutions. So if you already have Watson or Google set up, we can integrate with that via API. And we also have a really terrific partner that we've integrated with that has a cognitive solution that can quickly build a knowledge base from existing content, keep it up to date, and then business users can train the bot to respond with the most appropriate answers just using the Converse chat interface.
Okay, thanks. I think it's coming in for you now, Chris. For call center staff takeover, so if a call center staff, so a live takeover, is there a client web page login, or how would that part work?
So there are different roles within Converse. So if someone is just going to be kind of managing live takeover conversations, they'd be assigned an agent role, in which case they wouldn't be able to look at or affect, say, the design or look at the analytics. They'd only be involved in the takeover portion. There are browser notifications. So the only real requirement, I would say, is they do need to have Converse open as an agent if they're going to be managing conversations. They need to have that open in a tab. It doesn't need to be the focus tab, but it needs to be one of their tabs. And in that case, as users need help, browser notifications will pop up on their screen to alert them that there's something to look at in the Converse tab.
Okay, thank you, Chris, and also thank you, Stephen. I'm just going to move this on. So you can see the web page for the free trial if you want to sign up for that, again, up there. I would like to say a very big thank you for everybody on the webcast for staying so long, for being so interactive. There's been a lot of requests for further contact. That's great to see. It is difficult times, but at the same time, as I said, we are going to get forward, and I just wish you all a very nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you again for joining, and I hope we'll be in touch soon. And with that, as a reminder, the webinar was recorded, and you will get a thank you and a link to that shortly afterwards. And with that, have a nice day. Thank you.